आचार्य स्तोत्र श्रीमद एसी भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी शिल प्रभुपाद की जय। ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिब्रहाचार्य स्तोत्र श्री श्रीमद भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती गोस्वामी महाराज शिल प्रभुपाद की अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की नामाचार्य शिल हरिदास ठाकुर की प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद की ग्रंथराज श्रीमद भागवतम की श्री श्री चैतन्य चरितामृत की ताय गौर प्रेमानंदे। All glories to assembled devotees, all glories to assembled devotees, all glories to assembled devotees, all glories to Sri Sri Guru and Gauranga, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. जय जय श्री चैतन्य जय नित्यानंदा, जय द्वैत चंद्र जय गौर भक्त वृंदा, जय जय श्री चैतन्य जय नित्यानंदा, जय द्वैत चंद्र जय गौर भक्त वृंदा, जय जय श्री चैतन्य जय नित्यानंदा, जय द्वैत चंद्र जय गौर भक्त वृंदा। चैतन्य चरितामृत मध्य लीला चैप्टर 19 टेक्स्ट 13 टेक्स्ट 53 सॉरी। नमो महावदन्याय नमो महावदन्याय कृष्ण प्रेम प्रदायते कृष्ण प्रेम प्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्ण चैतन्य कृष्णाय कृष्ण चैतन्य नामने गौरत्षे नमः नामने गौरत्षे नमः। नमो महावदन्याय कृष्ण प्रेम प्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्ण चैतन्य नामने गौरत्षे नमः। नमो महावदन्याय कृष्ण प्रेम प्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्ण चैतन्य नामने गौरत्षे नमः। कृष्ण प्रेम प्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्ण चैतन्य ने गौरत्षे नमः। नमो महावदन्याय कृष्ण प्रेम प्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्ण चैतन्य ने गौरत्षे नमः। नमो महावदन्याय कृष्ण प्रेम प्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्ण चैतन्य ने गौरत्षे नमः। कृष्णाय कृष्ण चैतन्य नामने गौरत्षे नमः। नमो महावदन्याय कृष्ण प्रेम प्रदायते Krishna Hare Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gauratashe Namaha. Matajis Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gauratashe Namaha. Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gauratashe Namaha. Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gauratashe Namaha. Word to word meaning. Namaha, obeisances. Mahavadanyaya, who is most munificent and charitably disposed. Krishna Prema, love of Krishna. Pradaya, who can give. Te, unto you. Krishnaya, the original personality of Godhead. Krishna Chaitanya Namne, under the name Krishna Chaitanya. Gauratvashe, whose complexion is the golden complexion of Srimati Radharani. Namaha, obeisances. Translation and purport, there is no purport. Translation by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki. Oh, most munificent incarnation, you are Krishna himself, appearing as Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. You have assumed the golden color of Srimati Radharani, and you are widely distributing pure love of Krishna. We offer our respectful obeisances unto you. Please repeat. O most munificent incarnation, you are Krishna himself, appearing as Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. You have assumed the golden color of Srimati Radharani, and you are widely distributing pure love of Krishna. We offer our respectful obeisances unto you. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjanasalakaya Sakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langayate Girim Yatkrapatamaham Bande Sri Gurum Dinatarinam Paramananda Madhavam Sri Krishna Chaitanya Devam. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindubhye eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Namo Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Pastachade Satarine. Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. After meeting Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in the village Ramkeli, Rupa Goswami and Sanatana Goswami, they went and met Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu sent them back home, and they made a plan to how to join the mission of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So Sri Rupa Goswami took retirement, and he got lot of retirement benefit, out of which he kept some gold coins. We said that boat full of gold coins were the remuneration. 50% for the seva, spiritual activities, 25% for the family, 25% for the emergency. So 25% he kept with the grocer, 10,000 coins with the grocer. And then along with Anupam, Rupa Goswami went to meet Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So Rupa Goswami came to Prayagraj. So in Prayagraj, he had the audience of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So therein, Rupa Goswami taking the straw in his mouth, falling like a dandavat pranam at the lotus feet of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Rupa Goswami made this prayer. Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gaurattushe Namaha. He is most munificent, very, very charitable, munificent. You are. He is taking shelter. The first day only he knows about the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's actual position. And what he is distributing? Krishna Prema, the love of God, which is the rarest commodity in this material world. And in the golden complexion, you have descended to give this. So, this Krishna Prema is the ultimate goal, ultimate benefit, ultimate prayojana of spiritual practice. In Vedanta Sutra, there are 3 subject matters. Sambandha, Abhideya and Prayojana. Very familiar. We also know that. Vedanta Sutra talks about it. Sambandha is to establish the relation. What is the relation? The real question is Brahman, absolute truth, and we. What is our relation? Material world is also there. Spirit soul is Jiva is also there. Most important problem that anyone faced, all the interpreter is that what is the relation between Jiva and Brahman? Brahman is God, absolute truth. Jiva, living entity. So, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is giving the ultimate prayojana. After we got so many kinds of interpretation on this Vedanta Sutra. Shankaracharya, Adi Shankara came and he said the sambandha between Jiva and Brahman is oneness. Advaita, non-different. Abheda, no difference. Because Aham Brahmasmi, it is stated in the Upanishad, Aham Brahmasmi, I am Brahman. So we are Brahman. And every other Acharya who came after that, they have to defeat this stand that no, we are not one. Ramanujacharya came, said no, it's Advaita, but Vishishta Advaita. Brahman is one and we are part of, we are Amsa, Vishishta. Vishishta is an attribute, we are an attribute. Jiva is an attribute of Brahman. Vishishta Advaita. Then Madhvacharya came, he said, Dvaita, you can never become. Exactly opposite of Shankaracharya. Shankara said Advaita, he said Dvaita. Opposite. Ye nikal diya, Dvaita. Jiva can never become God. Jiva can never be equal to God. Always, eternally it will remain like this. Different. Veda. And every Acharya who came, for example, Vishnu Swami came in Rudra Sampradaya, follower. After that, Vallabhacharya came. He proposed the Suddhatvaita. Pure. Advaita is there, but there is a purity. It's a Hamsa only, the soul is a servant. Every Vaishnava Acharya said that the soul is a servant. And Nimbarka Acharya in Kumara Sampradaya, he said, wait a minute, there is a Beda Abeda. There is oneness also, there is a difference also. Nimbarka Acharya spoke about it. There are various varieties of Beda Bedas. Exactly like he gave the example, a snake in the form of a coil. Coil means round coil. Coil is a reality, snake is a reality. But coil depends upon the snake, but snake doesn't depend upon the coil. Snake can just go away also. Whether the Beda and Abeda both are existing. Nimbarka Acharya. So Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, in his conclusion on this disputed concept of relation, sambandha between Jiva and Brahman, in answering question of Sanatana Goswami, after Rupa Goswami joined Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in Prayag, then Sanatana Goswami, whole history is there, we all know, we won't go into the details. Sanatana Goswami came to Banaras and met Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and he also took the straw in the mouth, falling flat at the lotus feet of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Kiyami. He was supposed, actually Rupa Goswami and Sanatana Goswami, they were great scholars. They were scholars in Sanskrit, they were scholars in Persian, they were scholars in different languages actually. They were great scholars. They were known. And when Sanatana Goswami is coming and taking shelter, who am I? The first question, who am I? Kiyami. What am I supposed to do? Please tell. Surrendering. So, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is telling, Jivera Swarupahai Krishnera Nityadas. This is Sambandha. Jiva's Swarupa, natural position, constitutional position is to be servant of Krishna. Krishnera Tatastha Sakti, Veda Veda Prakash. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is using the same Veda Veda. It's a Veda Veda. It's actually oneness and difference. How is this oneness and difference? Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, Surya Amsa Kiran. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is giving an example of sun and sunshine. The sun is there far away and the sunshine is there, and there is a oneness and difference. Because sun is far away and shine is here, it's a difference. And sunshine is not different from sun also. Without sun, you can't have a sunshine. And this is the Veda Veda. And Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu adds Achintya to that. Achintya Veda Aveda Tattva. Oneness and difference. And there is an inconceivable potency there. Srila Jiva Goswami explains that inconceivability is the characteristic of able to reconcile that is difficult to reconcile. Something which is not reconcilable, if something is not reconcilable, if that can be reconciled, and that is Achintya Sakti, Srila Jiva Goswami. So Achintya Veda Veda Tattva, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, that is the Sambandha. Because Vedanta Sutra starts with what is the Sambandha. In fact, we may say that Achintya Veda Veda is the topmost explanation of Vedanta Sutra, because we are all devotees of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. What is the point? We may say that. But even in the academic circle, there is a PhD thesis done on this, comparing the different commentaries of Acharyas. Shankaracharya, Ramanujacharya, Madhvacharya, Vallabhacharya, Nimbarka Acharya. There is a PhD thesis done. And in the Professor Gate, he has written a thesis. And he said that, after studying all these things, he said that first thing should be thrown out is Shankara. Because, why? There is a reason. It's not just because we don't like. There is a reason. The scriptures actually talk about Veda and Aveda. It's a fact. Aham Brahmasmi is not manufactured in the mind. It is there in the Upanishad. It is there. Aham Brahmasmi. But there is also statements which say that there is a difference. Shankaracharya very conveniently took only the, only the non-different aspect and he completely excluded the different aspects. Sri Radha Ras Vihari Ji ki, Sitaram Lakshman Hanuman ki, Shishigor Nitai ki, Srila Prabhupada ki. He conveniently took Advaita aspect only. Other aspect he didn't consider, because of which it should be kept aside first. The next thing is Madhvacharya took only the difference aspect and he didn't consider the oneness aspect. That is set aside next. And Ramanujacharya, then comes Vallabhacharya. Vallabhacharya said Kevala Advaita, Suddha Advaita. So in the Suddha Advaita also not so much, faithful to the statements of the scripture. Next. And then Ramanujacharya, Vishishta Advaita, is better but not complete. He says, of all this interpretation, Veda, Aveda is the best. Why? Because it considers both. Oneness also, difference also. Nimbarkacharya gets the top one. And then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu adds to that same Veda, Achintya aspect and says that Achintya Veda. The sambandha between Jiva and Brahman is inconceivable oneness and difference. This is the last word in understanding Vedanta Sutra. There cannot be any better understanding. If Krishna himself is coming, Vedaishya Sarvai Rahameva Vedyo, you can't expect somebody else to come and give a better understanding. So the concluding words on establishing the sambandha between Jiva and Brahman is actually Achintya Veda. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gives that. So after sambandha, every acharya came and gave their abhideya, the process. Process has to be there. On instruction of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Rupa Goswami gives us the process. Okay, we have established. Jivera Swarupa Hoy, Krishnera Nityadas, we are servants. So then what next? Then process. The entire process, and it has to lead towards actually prayojana. When you start the process, the goal should be to reach the prayojana. So Rupa Goswami gives us the wonderful process of Adau Shraddha. First start with the Shraddha, first have faith. Yes, I am servant of Krishna. Yes, I accept Krishna. Tata Sadhu Sangha. Then it results in association of devotees who actually are doing the process. You want to follow the process, somebody is doing, you follow them. Engage in bhajana kriya. Chanting the holy names, performing devotional service. And this helps actually for a person to actually get rid of anarthas. Anartha nivriti. Anarthas, we didn't want it, but they are there already in the heart, accumulated over millions and trillions of lifetimes that we are here. And unless these anarthas are removed, further progress is actually very difficult. Steps are there, steps are already given. Then comes nishtha, determination, faith, complete determination, which matures into taste, ruchi. Vasudeva Katha Ruchi, then Ruchi, taste for devotional service. In the beginning, even though we may not be very much be pleasing, getting pleased by doing the activity, still we do it because we are told to do. But in the Ruchi stage, you feel so much tasty that you just want to do it. Nobody needs to come and tell you, please do it. No, it's become nature. Ashakti, attachment, and matures into bhava, and that bhava matures into prema, love of God. Rupa Goswami has given the step-by-step process actually, step-by-step process of achieving the prayojana. So, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, Brahmanda Brahmite Kona Bhagyavan Jiv, Guru Krishna Prasade Pai Bhakti Lata Bij. So this bhakti, the seed of devotional service, is obtained by the mercy of Guru and Krishna. For a living entity, Brahmanda Brahmite, roaming from Brahmanda to Brahmanda, not just one Brahman. This one Brahmanda only we have spent 50 years of Brahma's lifetime. Still we are here. Before that, how many Brahmandas? We don't know. Brahmanda Brahmite Kon Bhagyavan. The one who receives the seed of devotional service, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, Bhagyavan. Very fortunate. If you get fortune, you are fortunate. Fortunate person means he got a fortune. Bhagyavan. What is that Bhagya? The seed of devotional service is the greatest benefit actually. So, the seed of devotional service is compared to a bhakti lata, devotional creeper. The characteristic of a creeper is very delicate and it always needs support. A tree doesn't need a support. It can give support to others. But creeper needs support. So devotional service is very delicate, creeper. And this devotional creeper, if it is nicely cultivated. So if you are going to plant seed, then you have to plow. If you go to Talasari, Devakanda Prabhu will teach how to take care of the agriculture, plowing, planting, watering. If you don't water it, you nicely plant it. Very potential. Seed is very potential. Very potential. You don't properly take care of it. Then what happens? It will not give the fruit. Nicely planting it, then watering it. Shravanam Kirtanam. Shravanam Kirtanam is watering. If Shravanam Kirtanam is not there, water is not there, plant will dry. And this plant then has to be taken care by means of removing the weeds. So, you may be putting nice water to the plant, but in the vicinity there may be so many unwanted things comes, anarthas. The stage of anartha nivriti, is a stage which is very, very important. If we don't take care, then you are stuck. The process is so wonderful. You got a wonderful gift, but things are not moving the way it is supposed to move. And weeds have to be removed. If weeds are not removed, whatever you are supplying water and the nutrition to the plant, the weeds will start eating and they will keep growing. Unwanted desires. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gives another warning, important warning, that one should also take care of not any violent animal enter this by means of proper fencing. Hatimata, mad elephant. Suppose you imagine, elephant is a huge animal, Even if it is not mad, it can create havoc in the plant. What is become mad? Mad means you don't discriminate anything, just to walk indiscriminately. So what will happen to a creeper? Tree also can get smashed. What to speak of a creeper? So the creeper can be actually uprooted if it is not protected from the mad elephant of aparad, Vaishnava aparad. Vaishnava aparad is compared to mad elephant. Vaishnava aparad. So if the devotional creeper is taken care with all these things, then this creeper can go so nicely, crosses the heavenly planet, doesn't get stuck in the heavenly planet. Grows all the Tapaloka, Makaraloka, Janaloka, Brahmaloka, doesn't stop. Kailash doesn't stop, grows further. Vaikuntha Loka doesn't stop. It can go all the way up to the Goloka Vrindavan and take shelter at the lotus feet of Lord Krishna. Because Hare Krishna Maha Mantra seed has a potential to reach there, not anywhere else. Seed is given. Depending upon the seed, the plant will come, If you put a mango seed, you don't expect a coconut tree, Mango only will come. Hare Krishna Maha Mantra has a potency to make your devotional creeper to go all the way up to the lotus feet of Krishna and offer the fruit, prayojana, the flower and fruit at the lotus feet of Krishna. That potential is there. So, this the process of devotional service, in simple words, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu concludes, Sri Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says that, Aradhyo Bhagavan Brajesa Tanayas Taddhama Vrindavanam. In nutshell, if Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's teaching has to be said, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says, Sri Krishna, Sri Krishna, Brajendra Nandan Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead and topmost worshipable deity. Krishna. And Vrindavan Dham is the topmost planet. Vrindavan Dham. And there are so many servants, and the gopis are the best servants. Gopis are the best servants of Lord Krishna. Srimad Bhagavatam Puranam Amalam. Srimad Bhagavatam is the topmost Purana, topmost Vedic literature. So we said Vedanta Sutra, and the Srimad Bhagavatam is a commentary on the Vedanta Sutra, natural commentary. It's not a commentary like bhashyas, in the form of bhashyas. It's a natural commentary. And Prema Pamarto Mahan. Very important statement. That is the conclusion of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Prema Pumarto Mahan. Prema, love of God. Love of God. Love of Lord Krishna is the best. Prayojana. The best result. It's the best goal. You can have so many goals. And the best goal is the love of God. Actually, in the Vedic scripture, we see that there are so many Purusharthas. Scriptures talk about Purushartha, goal. Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha. It doesn't even list Prema there. So, normal, ordinary followers of Veda, if they they try to do dharma, swadharma, ashrama dharma, varna dharma, do things, and then they get some benefit, artha, then enjoy, kama, and at the end you get moksha, mukti. And mukti is defined as mukti hitvanmata rupam swarupena vyavastitaha. Mukti is getting rid of unwanted thing and then be situated in the original position. Swarupena vyavastitaha. For the ordinary follower, you are entangled in this material world with so many suffering. If you get rid of the suffering, that itself is mukti. There is no suffering. In that actually, only negative things are not there. What about positive thing? So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is not happy with that. Ye mukti kya hai? Mukti is not so great. Panchama Purushartha. He said 4 are there for ordinary people, and 5th Purushartha, which is not generally talked about in the Vedic circles or scholarly circles. Panchama Purushartha is Prema. Panchama Purushartha, Prema Ananda Amrita Sindhu. Prema, Ananda, bliss. Amrita, nectar of bliss. Sindhu actually is ocean. Mokshadi Ananda. In Ananda, moksha also there is some Ananda is there. Means not having suffering itself is a kind of relief, You feel like, if you are in a very hot place, just to come out of the hot place, the heat is not there, that looks like a relief. That is a kind of happiness. And mokshadi ananda yare, nahe eka bindu. The pleasure of moksha, mukti, if you compare it to just one drop of pleasure, and the pleasure of Premananda, Prema Ananda Amrita is actually ocean. Can you compare ocean with a drop? Just a drop on the ocean? And that is what Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is offering. Prema Ananda Amrita. So, Srila Narottam Das Thakur says that this love of Godhead is not a product of this material world. Golokera Premadana Harinama Sankirtan. The love of Godhead is a great fortune, Dana. Dhanavan means Bhagyavan, Dhanavan means you possess something, this Nama Sankirtan is actually Goloka product. It's not a material world product. It's actually Goloka product. And this is imported from there. Imported product के लिए थोड़ा कीमत ज़्यादा होता है. Imported from there, and it is actually available for us. Premadan, Hare Krishna Maha Mantra is available. And we are chanting Hare Krishna Maha Mantra for long time actually. And how is that product of spiritual world and we are in the material world, especially, Durbhagyavans actually. How they can even access it first of all. After accessing only you can get benefit, So this is a very special mercy of the Supreme Lord. He has invested his potency in the name, and that name in the form of sound vibration, which is available there also, available here also. In the scriptures, there is a description about 4 levels of sound vibration. Vaikari, Madhyama, Pashyanti and Para. Vaikari is understood by the name and the object, they are different. Water, name water and actual water is different. The name can be different actually. You may call it water, a scientist will call it H2O, Hindi mein pani, jol. Every language has got its own name for water, but water is one water actually, Nama, Nami, Veda. Name and the source. Different. Water is different. This is Vaikari. Then you improve the consciousness, then you come to Madhyama, then Pashyanti, where things are more closer. And in Para, there is no difference between name and the object. We say that the holy name of Krishna is non-different from Krishna. Yes. That is applicable in the Goloka Vrindavan, and for those people who have cleansed their consciousness and brought the consciousness to the level of purity. All the anarthas are removed. Art is completely cleansed. Cheto Darpana Marjanam process is complete. They will be able to experience also. Here, right here. Right here. Now we are telling non-different. You say that, अरे क्या लगता ही नहीं है, ऐसा कैसा बोल दिया आप लोग? हाँ अभी नहीं लगेगा ना, कैसा लगेगा? If लग जाता तो क्या फर्क पड़ता है? It's a matter of consciousness of the chanter. If the consciousness is pure, then what happens? He will be able to see how the name of Krishna is non-different. And even if it is not, your consciousness is pure, still you can take the process. That is the speciality. If after purifying only you can take, everybody will be disqualified, Who is the qualified person? सब पूरा consciousness को साफ करके आना, फिर मैं बताता हूँ. You won't have any customers. The process itself is making the consciousness to purify, and after purification it shows that how it is non-different, the name of Krishna and the Krishna himself. So in this way, the holy name of Krishna, which can actually give the love of Godhead, Krishna Prem. When we discuss about love, generally in the material world, people try to understand it from the material point of view, and they end up with lust. The material world also people talk about love stories and love and so many things, Not that love. Because you don't find any other word for prema. It's very closest. That's why we are using the word lust and love. It's not actually love in the truest sense. It's actually difference between love and lust is when a person is trying to satisfy his own senses, then it is kama. If one tries to satisfy the senses of Krishna, it is love. Krishnendriya priti vancha tare bali prem. if you are trying to satisfy the senses of Krishna, and that is love, Nijendra Priti Vanchadare Kamana. One wants to satisfy his own senses. That is Kama. In the material world, even though people may talk about love, I love you and all, they want their own satisfaction. That is why it is lust. Lust is like iron and love is like gold. Completely different. And generally, people don't discuss about the intimate topics of love between Krishna and his devotees, gopis, Radharani. Srila Prabhupada was in Madras in 1972. He visited. He was hosted by one Mr. Balu. So Balu was a devotee of Radha and Krishna. He had a deity of Radha and Krishna at home. So one day he said, Swamiji, I want to hear from you about Ras Leela pastime. Please narrate Ras Leela. And the Prabhupada said, no, Ras Leela pastime is for liberated souls. Liberated souls. In fact, Ras Leela pastime is narrated by whom actually? Sukadeva Goswami, a brahmachari, naked brahmachari. And who was in the audience? His father was sitting there, Vyasadeva, Narada Muni, all the exalted rishis and munis and all these audience. And he is narrating Ras Leela pastime. Not he was disturbed, nor anybody in the audience was disturbed because they are all in the liberated stage. Prabhupada said, no, this is for liberated stage. No, Swamiji, we want to hear, please narrate. No, Swami, he was insisting. Finally, Prabhupada said, actually maybe you are qualified to hear, but I am not qualified to talk. He didn't speak actually. You please find somebody who can narrate for you. So, two things, speaker and audience. Speaker has to be qualified and audience has to be qualified also. No? It's not that, speaker ka qualification ko analyze karega, apna qualification kidhar hai. That has to be seen also. So the topics, intimate topics are meant for actually liberated souls. But then, under the guidance of acharyas like Srila Prabhupada, even though it is intimate topic, Prabhupada also wrote a Krishna book, even though he was feeling that he may not be able to complete Srimad Bhagavatam at the advanced age. He wrote for us to understand and when we cleanse our heart, we may be able to at one day understand the statements made in Chaitanya Charitamrita. We may just go through it. We may not really absorb everything. We may at one. Sometimes people say Prabhupada only gave the beginner's guide. No, Prabhupada did not give the very advanced topic. What is this nonsense? Have you observed everything that Prabhupada has written in Chaitanya Charitamrita? Chaitanya Charitamrita talks about Maha. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is going to exhibit in Gambhira the bhav that nobody ever can exhibit actually. Nobody in Gambhira. Given. You read, then you can understand even from the original statements if the heart is pure. Heart is not pure, anything cannot go into the head actually. Everything is there actually. Everything Prabhupada has given to get Prema Pumarto Maha. The ultimate love of Godhead, attaining the lotus feet of Krishna is given. So in that way, Srila Prabhupada avoided. Sometimes devotees avoid, not that because of not able to, but then because the situation may not necessarily require that. So in this way, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wanted to teach how Lord Krishna asked us to surrender. Sarva dharman parityaja mamekam saranam vrija. Surrender. How to surrender? He took the role of a devotee, bhakta bhav. If you keep giving a lecture how to surrender and you don't show it, like a teacher taking the role of a student, no student then teach. So he is teaching how to surrender. So this is actually the external reason. Came to inaugurate Harinama Sankirtan, external. But the real internal reason is that Lord Krishna was within the heart, considering that I am full of all the bliss and my devotees are deriving so much bliss by serving me. And of all the devotees, gopis are the best. And Srimati Radharani is actually serving me. And what she is experiencing, how she is experiencing the bliss, something which you actually cannot know unless you take that role. So, Swarup Damodar Goswami, one of the personal associate, has spoken on this, and Srila Rupa Goswami quotes this in Lalita Madhav, that Lord Krishna, after performing the pastime in Braj, he was certain things unfulfilled. So he wanted to know certain things. What is actually Radharani's love for me? She loves, you can't know what it is. And what is actually the beauty, Rupa Madhuri, that excellent beauty that Radharani relishes? And what is the happiness and pleasure that Radharani derives by all these things? So, Krishna wants to know actually. Krishna is the giver and he wants to know. So it is stated that even in academic circle, in philosophy, there is a scholar who wrote a paper saying that if you want to know how the bat is experiencing the sound, the object by sound, bats sonar, they make the sound, when the sound comes, they know that object is this much distance. You will never be able to experience that unless you become a bat. PhD thesis. This is learned from Chaitanya, Krishna taking the role of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. That remnant. Chaitanya, so Krishna said, how Radharani is experiencing, I want to explain for that, you have to take that role, not otherwise, it's not possible. So, this is the internal reason that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Krishna himself, taking the role, taking the mood of Srimati Radharani. And in this mood, as we already said, there is no difference between Nama and Nami. There is no difference between Krishna and Krishna's name. And this Krishna's name in the form of holy name, which is Golokera Premadan. So it is explained that, Srila Gaur Govinda Swami Maharaj explains, this is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu brings a garland. Garland has got flower, and the flower is the holy name, and the thread which is connecting the flowers is the prema. So the holy name Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is giving is Prema Harinam, is actually love of Godhead. And he comes and distributes this Prema Harinam. And for ordinary people it looks like Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, but it is actually Hare Krishna Maha Mantra which is manifested in the form of Prem. It's just Prem, the love of Godhead. So much so that when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went, anywhere he went, he actually, they became devotees. He went to South India, they saw him, they became devotees. They heard, this is Prema Harinam, they became devotees. And he can make animals experience the Prema. Jharkhand. So he can make tigers and deers dance. It is not possible in the material platform. Unless the tiger and deer, they are elevated to the consciousness level. Bodily level they will attack. Consciousness level, otherwise how can they dance? And out of all unqualified people, Jagai Madai, they were topmost unqualified people at that time. He gave this Premadana. He is actually Mahavadanyaya, most munificent, because if you are qualified and I am giving you, what is the big thing about it? You deserve something. You deserve. You did a job for 1,000 rupees. I gave you 1,000 rupees. I won't be called a charitable person, no? I only just, reimbursed my debt. That is not charity. You don't deserve anything, I give something, which is so great. That is charity. Mahavadanyaya. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is giving the topmost gift for totally unqualified people. That's why it's Mahavadanya. So in this way, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is glorified in this verse as most munificent, Mahavadanyaya, Krishna Prema, the love of Godhead is gifting. And Srila Prabhupada, representative of Gauranga Mahaprabhu, and he exhibited this quality of Mahavadanyaya to the whole world actually. And he went to the West, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu showed one example of Jagai Madhai, and Prabhupada has to see a lot of Jagai Madhais actually, and giving Krishna Prema, the love of God. And those who have actually Adav Shraddha Tata Sadhu Sangha Bhajana Kriya properly, then seed can keep growing, the Lata, Bhakti Lata will grow. And otherwise also, whatever one is done is the beneficial thing. So in this way, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, in his pastime in Navadip, when Srivas Thakur's house, when Nityananda Prabhu came and joined, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu showed actually Sadbhuja form, 6-handed form, with the 2 hands holding bow and arrow, and 2 hands holding flute and the stick, covered by Krishna, and with the 2-hand sannyas danda and kamandalu, 6-handed form. So, interesting thing about this is there are 3, Lord Ram, Lord Krishna and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Lord Ram is actually known as Maryad Purshotam. It's Maryad Purshotam. Ideal behavior, whatever role he took, ideal son, ideal husband, ideal master, ideal friend, ideal king. When we are talking about Ramaraja, because he ruled ideally, ideal, highest standard. Maryad Purshotam. Lord Krishna came and he is Leela Purshotam, performing wonderful pastimes, which Krishna only can perform. And Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu showed actually the Shadbhuja form, Rama, Krishna and Gauranga Mahaprabhu. Gauranga Mahaprabhu is known as Prema Purshotam, Maryad Purshotam, Leela Purshotam and Prem Purshotam. And because Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is distributing the Prem, love of Godhead, Prem Purshotam. In fact, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu showing the features of Lord Ram and Lord Krishna, saying that even Maryada and Leela, so the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also did ideal setting the standard as a ideal first student, great student, ideal teacher, ideal sannyasi. Sannyasi is highest standard. We don't have time to discuss the highest standard that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had said. Highest devotee. He took the role of a devotee and he acted like that, all the standards, ideal behavior. So his Maryada Purushottam characteristic also there in Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And Krishna's Leela, where it ended, same Leela continues with Gauranga Mahaprabhu, Leela Purushottam. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is also Leela Purushottam, where Krishna wanted to know how it is. The mood of separation. He comes as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and comes near the Garuda Stamba and drinking the nectar of Jagannath's beautiful face. Continuity actually. The Leela continues. Krishna's Leela, where it ended, Gauranga Mahaprabhu's Leela continues and drinking the nectar. And Prem Purushottam and giving the nectar of the holy name, it's actually Prema Harinam. And then by means of his ideal behavior, by means of his teaching, giving the highest benefit of achieving the love of Godhead. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, in fact, combination, so that is how he showed the Sadbhuja form, saying that he is combination of all the 3. He is Maryad Purushottam, he is Leela Purushottam, he is Prem Purushottam. And Srila Prabhupada is so merciful that he has given an opportunity for us to serve the Maryad Purushottam Ramachandra Bhagavan and the Leela Purushottam Rasbihari Bhagavan and the Prem Purshotam, Gauranga Mahaprabhu. Not everybody will have that opportunity. So, in this way, Srila Prabhupada has given us the wonderful opportunity. So, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the Prem Purshotam, he has come to give us this opportunity of making us Bhagyavans. He has given the seed. The story doesn't end there. The story ends only when the prema is achieved. Until then, story continues. So better to make the story a short story than very long story. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, unless Cheto Darpana Marjanam, unless this is cleansed, the plant doesn't move further. So we have to very sincerely and seriously pray at the lotus feet of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu that, okay, we got something, some bhagya is there. Please let us give us mercy, so that how can we become more and more bhagyavan, so that we become Purna Bhagya. That can happen only by the mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is a Mahavadanyaya, under the shelter of Srila Prabhupada, following the footsteps of Prabhupada. If we render the services, then quite definitely possible that one can actually achieve the ultimate benefit, Prema Pumarto Maha, Panchama Purushata, quite possible. A few words about today's important date. Today, 50 years ago, today, that is in 1972, 17th March, 1972, 17th March, actually Sri Radha Ras Bihari arrived in this Hare Krishna land. Sri Radha Ras Bihari Ji ki. Actually, Srila Prabhupada made the arrangement that after paying 50,000 rupees down payment, the devotees can move in. That is arrangement with Mr. Nair. And Prabhupada actually, he was on the tour, he went, and the devotees made the payment, and Srila Prabhupada said, okay, the devotees came to the Hare Krishna land and they started staying here. And then Prabhupada said, now that you have made the down payment, please move the deities from Akash Ganga. And devotees said, Prabhupada, we don't have facility, can we wait? Just move it. Prabhupada is transcendentally smart. So Prabhupada said that once the deities are there, nobody will remove it, just to move the deities. And you can imagine, even devotees did not have facilities to stay here. And Radha Ras Bihari, Leela Purshotam, he was told, please go there. And the devotees actually on this day, they brought Radha Ras Bihari in the taxi. Kalapila. Kalapila Jamanaka taxi. So on the lap, the devotees, they didn't have any facility. They put on the lap, some devotees holding Radha, some devotees holding Ras Bihari. So Radha and Ras Bihari actually came, and it is described in Prabhupada Leelamrita how Srila Prabhupada, he was definitely concerned, but then he was also very, because he knew that something is wrong with Nair. It's not that you can fool a pure devotee. So he certainly called Sri Radha Ras Bihari. He knew that actually it is austerity. His Holiness Tamal Krishna Goswami Maharaj once said that we all know that sometimes devotees do some austerity for the Lord, and Radha Ras Bihari did austerity for Prabhupada actually. Prabhupada said, my dear Lord, please come and stay here, I will build a marble palace for you. Krishna said, ठीक है, क्या करेगा अभी, बोल दिया तो करना पड़ेगा. So Sri Radha Ras Bihari came, and within few days, I think another 23rd, you can go and see the cornerstone laying of this temple. In the entrance of that main door, the cornerstone laying is there, and the photo of that you can find on the internet, and Prabhupada Kota's photo is there. 23rd March 1972. Can you imagine? Just 50,000 payment kiya. The total amount is I think 14 lakh rupees. Only 50,000 he gave, and agreement is he'll have to keep paying. And Prabhupada brought Radha Ras Bihari, cornerstone laid also. 23rd March, another important all dates are going to be milestones actually. 50 years, everything is going to be 50, 50, 50. So, in few days of coming here, cornerstone for this wonderful marble palace was already laid by Prabhupada himself. You can see the photograph, Prabhupada is making the cornerstone. So, it is a wonderful occasion. Shri Radha Ras Bihari has, this is actually Radha Ras Bihari's anniversary actually. It's a wonderful festival. And Radha Ras Bihari fulfilled the desire of Srila Prabhupada to be worshipped in this wonderful marble palace. So Srila Prabhupada has given such a wonderful opportunity for us to serve Maryad Purshotam, Leela Purshotam and Prem Purshotam and Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu in all three forms, Shadbhuja Gauranga form. So we pray on this wonderful occasion at the lotus feet of Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu and Sri Radha Ras Bihari and Sitaram Lakshman Hanuman, so that our services are pleasing to them, so that we can make progress towards achieving the perfection of love of God. We'll stop here. Any questions or comments?
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much for nicely narrating this pastime. Actually, Srila Prabhupada teased Sri Radha Ras Bihari because he was trying to vacate the Lord. So Prabhupada provoked the Lord, Radha Ras Bihari, that, my dear Lord, if he is successful in vacating you from this land, it will be a great insult to you. Because you already occupied this place. So take care. Later on, when he was killed, Prabhupada was very, very joyful. And then he said, oh, actually I prayed to Lord Nishangadev to kill him. Like that. So this is a very wonderful pastime. And then Srila Prabhupada said later on everything was over, then it's a good fight. So regarding the main pastime, I want to comment that Srila Prabhupada writes in 6th canto Bhagavatam that anybody who constantly preaches the difference between soul and Paramatma, he becomes very dear to Krishna. So that is one thing. And then Srila Prabhupada writes in 7th chapter Adilila, anybody who chants understanding that there is no difference between the holy name and Krishna, it is considered pure chanting.
Mithila Pati Prabhu, raise the hand first.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Prabhuji, as you mentioned that different acharyas gave different philosophies, like Madhvacharya gave Dvaitvad and Nimbarkacharya. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's philosophy that Achintya Bheda Bhed, so that is more closer to Nimbarkacharya, and the worshipping method that is in Nimbarkacharya Sampradaya, Kumar Sampradaya, that is like serving in the mood of gopis. So that is more closer to what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave. So the question is, why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared in Brahma Sampradaya rather than in Kumar Sampradaya?
So instead of connecting to Madhva Sampradaya, you should have connected to Kumara Sampradaya. Kumara Sampradaya, even though the philosophy, their philosophy is called Swabhavika Veda Veda, to be precise. Veda Veda, Swabhavika Veda Veda. But it is, as I said, the seed will give the fruit according to what seed it is actually. So in the form of Madhavendra Puri, who is actually a Kalpa Vriksha in the spiritual world. So when he came, even though he was connected to Madhva Sampradaya only, so the seed will give the fruit, desired fruit, that fruit, original fruit only, no? So he came with the love of Godhead. So love of Godhead only will manifest, something else is not going to manifest. So because Gauranga Mahaprabhu wanted in this way things to be manifested and connected to Madhva Sampradaya, we have no option. We can't ask question why he even connect here. It is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's Leela. So he wanted to be connected here. He connected. Go, Devakandan Prabhu.
Well, Brahma is the first living entity. He is the son of the Lord, direct son. Kumara is the son, grandson of the Lord. So Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wanted to, give the direct mercy to us. I'm speculating, super speculation.
No, we can guess that.
So, and beside that, if you see between Brahma and Kumaraj, they are Brahma is, Guna avatar, whereas Kumara is the incarnation of knowledge. In Guna avatar, the devotion of the Lord is the highest. In Kumara, the knowledge. So Lord Chaitanya came to teach the devotion, and that can come from this sampradaya. Therefore Mahaprabhu accepted Brahma sampradaya. And Madhvacharya has taught devotion also.
Adhokshat Krishna Prabhu, last, he already raised the hand.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. So you mentioned about the 4 stages of sound, and as Prabhupada is narrating, he was dictating his book, so we understand that it was on the level of para. So whatever we have to know, whatever we we are required to go back to Godhead is there in Prabhupada's books, and it is coming from para level. So that is understood. So my question is that when many times people say, devotees say that everything is there in Prabhupada's books, and just by reading, Prabhupada himself said 4 books are enough and like that. But for a conditioned soul like me, when I hear these technical terms which I don't find in Prabhupada's books, so far I have not found, I don't know whether these 4 technical terms are there, and similarly there are other subject matters also. And devotees are quoting from Upanishads or various scriptures and then bringing it to Prabhupada's books and then glorifying Prabhupada's books. So conditioned soul like me gets the impression I should also read like this, and because that intellectual titillation is there. And then the danger in this then comes that I may be reading impersonalism, I may be reading commentary by unauthorized people. So then how do I overcome this upon hearing such lectures when I get inspired and then this desire comes? So how far this desire is as per Prabhupada's desires, and how can I satisfy also myself?
Academic pursuit is possible if one is mature enough. If one is mature, then it is possible. If one is immature, academic pursuit may divert you, deviate you also. Suppose Mayavad. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, don't hear Mayavad. Mayavad Bhasha Sunile Sarvanas. Right? And it is also said that you have to understand. Even for, it is said that you have to Sat Darshan, one should be familiar to speak on Bhagavatam. Nyaya, Vaisheshika, Sankhya, Yoga, Mimamsa, Vedanta. And Vedanta, these all bhashas are coming. One should be familiar with it to speak Bhagavatam. So if you say that, no, I will go and read all these things, unless you have some kind of maturity fine. If you are not mature, you will be stuck there and deviated. Can you imagine some people, devotee, after becoming devotee and practicing devotee, somebody becoming Buddhist? There are some people, after being devotee, they become Buddhist. How can they become Buddhist? Buddhist is not even Vedic, it is Gnostic. How can somebody become? Academic pursuit में जा करके फंस गया तो क्या करेगा? You get impressed because you are not impressed with the love of Godhead, because you are not able to taste it. Somebody says something good which you are able to taste it, then you get attracted. Unless you are very clear that you are not going to be attracted, don't do any kind of academic pursuit. That's going to be dangerous. You are taking a risk, that's all. But that means nobody should pursue. Yes, if you are mature enough to be not deviated by that, yes, we can. Otherwise, So you should do it or not. You are the best person to judge how much mature you are. How can I say that you go and do it a PhD करके मैं थोड़ी बोल सकता हूँ. But if your desire is there and you are not going to be deviated and you are going to exhibit that and prove to some of your authority that you cannot be, then okay. Take the opinion from your authority who know you the best. They will tell you. That is the bottom line. Last comment by His Grace, Hanuman Prabhu. Oh, acha, okay.
This Mahabadanya, see, Badanya means magnanimous. If somebody asks, then they give. And Mahabadanya means most magnanimous. Means that person knows who needs. He may not ask, but he knows that he needs it. So he goes to him and gives to him. That's Mahabadanya. So Mahaprabhu is Mahabadanya. He went out to give. And he sent his follower to give. Like Jagai Madhai, they are not recipient. But Mahaprabhu is Mahabadanya. So he asked Haridas Thakur and Nityanand Prabhu to go and give love of Godhead. And Lord also, in going to South India, he has given, to the people who are learned, like Bhattacharyas, as well as, people like Vasudev Datta and others. So he went out of his way. Somebody who goes out of his way to give, something, that's called Mahabadanya.
Thank you, thank you.
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी. एक समय रामेश्वर प्रभु प्रवचन दिए थे भागवतम क्लास, और उन्होंने बताया कि प्रभुपाद जी किसी प्रकार से 2 लाख रुपए जमा करके नायर को दिए, फिर भी 12 लाख बाकी था. तब उन्होंने अमेरिका में फ़ोन किया, जहां उनके शिष्यों ने न्यूयॉर्क में मंदिर बनाने के लिए पैसा जमा करके रखा था, और उन्होंने बोला कि सारा पैसा इधर लेके आओ मेरे पास. तो प्रभुपाद जी के शिष्य, उनका बहुत डेडिकेशन बहुत ज़बरदस्त था. जैसे प्रभुपाद जी बोले ऐसा ही सुनते थे फटाफट. वो सब पैसा लेकर आए और फिर पूरा 14 लाख फाइनल कर दिया और नायर को जाने के लिए बोल दिया. और इस प्रकार से नायर तो सोचता था कि ये पैसा दे नहीं पाएंगे, 2 लाख हड़प करेंगे और भक्तों को वो यहाँ से भगाएंगे, लेकिन उसका काम सफल हुआ नहीं. राधा रस की कृपा से हम लोग सफल हुए. हरे कृष्ण.
हरे कृष्णा. टाइम हो गया. श्री चैतन्य चरितामृत की, मर्याद पुरुषोत्तम रामचंद्र भगवान की, लीला पुरुषोत्तम राधा रास बिहारी भगवान की, प्रेम पुरुषोत्तम श्री गौरंग महाप्रभु की, शील प्रभुपाद की, गौर पूर्णिमा महा महोत्सव की, हिताय गौरव प्रेमानंदे.